Hello, welcome to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. What you're about to hear, you will not hear anywhere else. Nobody has done the research. Nobody understands what's going on. A trillion here and a trillion there. 100 trillion here and 100 trillion there. Who's counting? Unbelievable spending. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. The 9 most feared words in the world. I'm from the government and I'm here to help as they seize more and more farmlands. But anyway. Oh well, when you hear the amount of money that the U.S. government is lending and sponsoring and spending, your jaw will hit the ground. And if you're not running for gold and silver, as the government seizes more and more land, if you're not running for gold and silver, there's something wrong up here. Because I'm telling you what, when we expose how much debt the U.S. Fortune 500 companies are involved in,
that's the only traceable. I mean, there's untraceable stuff out there.
There's a lot of untraceable stuff. So, I don't know what to say. I just call Noble Gold 877-646-5347 because like Jim Willie said, he said a third of the silver he buys in Costa Rica is fake. A lot of the stuff you buy online is fake. We go to Noble Gold because they got this machine.
Well, they guarantee their product. They're a class act.
Yeah, or you could store it in their vault. I think it's $600
well, they've got a couple of vaults available for people.
Texas and somewhere else. So, anyway, 3 things you need to understand when we start talking about money. The Congressional Budget Office that lends out trillions of dollars now has been hacked. Remember when we said unless the VA stops selling military records around the world, every single office in the United States will be hacked? Well, they're still selling records and we're still getting hacked because the White House refuses to stop the VA from selling military records around the world. So if I go to Beijing or Moscow or Austria, they have my military records on the frickin' airport computers.
Yes, and the new 2026, they've got new protocol with Visa and everything, and they've got biometric scanning. They don't even look at your Visa now. They just boop, scan
Eyes, face, fingerprints, 500
they know everything.
And it's in, if I have the launch codes for our SCRAM missiles located at Travis Air Force Base. Oh, that's top secret. Sorry, you got a secret clearance. And I know the launch codes. And I walk in and I fly to Moscow to stop another nuclear war. They'll have my records right there. Of course, when I fly back to the United States, after you stop a nuclear war, you get arrested and everything you own stolen. What a country! What a country!
Well, you know what that's to take it a step further.
Save a president's life gets censored.
If you go through the scanner, that could be hacked. And you could have somebody, if you had something very important that you had to do, they could hack that, know when you're coming in, know where you are,
and have me arrested.
And take you out and just take you out. Yeah.
Well, it's like the commander of the submarine fleet. He had celiac disease. Well, he could go to a restaurant in Moscow and they could put a little weed on there and he acts drunk, starts talking about the location of our nuclear submarines and how to launch the missiles, but he doesn't know where they're going. That's all set by the Pentagon. So who knows? They all could be programmed to hit New York. Everything's hackable. So anyway, and the Fed, Federal Reserve System, which controls all the banks, they lend the banks money through repo, overnight repo, 2-night repo,
whatever,
7-day repo, 40-day repo, 365-day repo. We talked about that earlier. That's crashing. So they created the...
we just changed doors you have to go into.
Treasury Reserve Management and Reinvestment Repurchases and Purchases.
Hey, don't go through this door. It's broke. Take the one on the right to go into that door.
They just make this money up. They just make it up. And of course, so if you're not running to Noble Gold for, oh my God. Anyway, judge orders the release of all illegal aliens in Chicago. And nobody arrested them because, that's a violation of United States Code 18 because they're using illegal federal government ID. Nobody arrested the judge.
We get these radical judges in there, and I just do not, how are they going to take care of it?
And the Ukraine, somebody blew up, Trump has to arrest the judge. He is the chief law enforcement officer. He's got to grow some gonads below the belt. But now we're on the 5'8" Trump because the 5'9" Trump disappeared 11 November. He's gone.
Well, they just rotate them, you know.
I told you they were gonna.
They rotate.
Kash Patel was gonna.
They're gonna rotate them.
And then Ukraine sends one bomb into Russia to blow up part of the port exporting oil. So Russia typically responds. 450 missiles and drones blows the snot out of the Ukraine. So the U.S., but you know, every power there is there. Trump declared war on the drug cartels in South America.
And now you're changing hats.
Well, not really. Because Brazil, Venezuela, all of the South American countries are learning how to use drones to attack America because we're not accepting their drugs. So Trump declared war on them. So more on the war front. Don't think that's not going to affect the dollar worldwide. And Merry Christmas. Verizon's laying off 15,000 out of 80,000 employees right before Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We're going to have some fun on this. And Fetterman's clone, because you know that's not Fetterman. Anybody who thinks that guy walking around is Fetterman. His clone went click. So did Jesse Jackson's clone. It went click. Both of them clicked off and went to the hospital. Bye, Jesse. You know he never leaves a tip. Neither does Al Sharpton.
Neither does Hillary Clinton.
No, the frazzled rat. Blah! Anyway, and the high-speed MTA train that the United States has decided to build, the CIA has decided to build 3,500 miles of high-speed net rail, right? That's $3.2 billion a mile times 3,500 miles is 100 trillion. And they're sucking it up through your car registration fees because they need money to kill Russians and do their activities because drug sales are going down. So they had to outlaw marijuana so they can get more money for marijuana. It's all CIA. This is all CIA. And so
this is a shakedown.
This is a shakedown of America.
Shakedown.
Hey, dope's going to get cheaper on the streets.
It could be.
Anyway, because the stores have it expensive. Anyway,
yes,
so
they are.
We're building $100 trillion to your car registration fees and other state fees that they're now charging and rising.
And you know, there's cash only. They won't take any cards.
Who?
The stores, the dope stores.
Oh, they're cash only?
They're cash only.
Oh, yeah, and then they claim, yeah, you had a green card, that'll be an extra 100. Oh, yeah, your hand's green, that constitutes a green card. Yeah, anyway. Anyway, the MTA trains that they're putting together, they have to hire people under affirmative action, right? So this affirmative action, guys, on a San Francisco train, going 50 miles an hour, and they go around a turn, the whole train almost comes off the track, everybody's pushed to the ground, so he goes, what the? Pushes the stop button in the middle of the run.
And then everybody went flying inside.
And then everybody went flying forward and then flying backwards. So $100 trillion of trains so the CIA can have their money is all based on affirmative action hirees. You know why Bank of America moved out of their big black building? My father had a luncheon with the head of the Bank of America because he couldn't fire a black secretary. He couldn't fire the black secretary. So they decided to move to Concord, California and abandon the Bank of America building. That was the beginning of the downturn of San Francisco. Because when the Bank of America building emptied out, that was it. Rent wasn't paid, values. There's a shopping mall, I forget where it was, that value 1.2 billion, now they sold for 111 million. I don't know if it's Chicago. Anyway, so while the United States is building $100 trillion, not billion, not million, trillion dollars worth of rail systems through debt, bonds, and through taking money from you. You know, 300 million cars at $200 a piece, that's $60 billion a year the CIA has to play with because they get 2/3 to 3/4 of that money. The state only gets $30 to $40 per registration fee. The rest goes directly to the CIA for their rail system. So the U.S. Army, the National Science Foundation, you know this war on AI, right? Yeah. We're going to build the best chips. America's going to be the leader of AI. We're going to do everything right, and all our systems are hacked. Now, why are they hacked? While Trump is beginning to pour $100 trillion into the chip sector, over 200 nuclear reactors need to be built. Just like The Lucifer Trust says I get the devil's letters. We're going to build hundreds of nuclear reactors across the country to power the underground cities and kill everybody above ground with radiation. Just like Lucifer said, the devil, Satan, or if you're Muslim, Shaitan. Just like Shaitan said, we're going to build over 100, maybe 200 nuclear reactors at 15 billion apiece. I don't even want to run the cost of that. 15 billion, 200, that's getting way up there. So, the U.S. Army, combined with the National Science Foundation and the Department of Energy funding, collaborated with the Chinese Communist Party, the Chinese Academy of Science, on optoelectrics, semiconductors, photonics, which is sending messages with light, quantum computing, and chip manufacturing and radionics. That's where we, by mistake, used some rocks over here and sent a message from here to a constellation way out there. So you kick it like that and it instantly is received here 450 light years away. It's called radionics. I could explain to the Department of Defense how that works, but they got a bunch of dummies in there. Anyway, so you, the American public, not only is BlackRock still taking corporate profits from all of the major corporations on the Fortune 500 company and giving China hundreds of billions of dollars to build their military. So not only are you building the Chinese military, you're also funding China's advancement in the AI chip because the U.S. Army is paying China billions of dollars to make a better chip and to build chip factories. Now they're building dams because dams take electrons
So
out.
is this the big deal that Trump made with Xi?
No, this is totally under the table.
Oh my!
This
Lord.
is totally top secret.
Oh.
The U.S.
Give them all a clearance.
You all have a clearance for the next 5 minutes because I never did close my embassy. Oh my God!
It's probably bombed by now.
I hope not. It's Bogomolsta Avenue. Anyway, Chance Simply Clean Foods makes the best coffee. Jane, you got something about Simply Clean Foods?
Oh, their coffee's the best.
Anyway,
And Chance does a good job, and I will not buy anything else but.
yeah. Now remember, there are bands of life. The band for plant, we're at 85 megahertz, the astral planes. 4 times higher, the upper astral planes. 10 times higher, got that from Kent done. Then there's another plane and another plane in the God plane, which is in the gamma ray frequency area. Okay, I want you to keep that in mind. The God plane is the gamma ray frequency. It's all around us. So I just want you to understand that. So we're going to go rather quickly. That was quick, nothing on that page. Okay, unemployment is skyrocketing.
Yeah, what else is new?
200 nuclear reactors at 15 billion apiece. That's only $3 trillion. It's only $3 trillion.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, what a deal.
Plus, we're spending $3 trillion on the illegal aliens a year. But we don't want to talk about that. So remember, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. So it appears that the nuclear energy... Oh, a 3 Mile Island, the one they shut down, it's all radioactive right now?
Yes, it is.
Guess what? They're rebuilding it. They're going to put people back in there. I hope they eat sea vegetables from get the teeth, because otherwise they're in deep trouble. Those machines are radioactive. The reason they have to shut down a nuclear reactor, the reason they have to defunction a carrier is because the radiation leaks and all of the cement and all of the iron starts to get radioactive.
It melts.
No, it gets radioactive.
Okay.
Now, Russia keeps the radioactivity out with a lead shield. We run salt water over and around it so that our soldiers don't get radiation poisoning. So we're dumping radiation wherever we go. So every nuclear-powered everything we have leaves a nuclear trail. You can see it from a satellite. So, a top secret. Sorry. Been on a carrier.
Clearance again?
Clearance. But I was on the old Ranger, and I don't think it was nuclear powered. But I still got a tour of it. Hit my head on a plane wing. You know they coat those things with plaster because they degrade in the salt water and they have to scrape the plaster off before they take them off. Anyway, remember, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. So, total bonds outstanding. Meta has 76 billion. Amazon has $150 billion of outstanding bonds. Oracle has $129 billion of outstanding bonds. Oh, but they declared a 2.9 billion dollar profit, and they're selling 38 billion more in bonds to make it look like they have a profit. Tesla has 19 billion, but we're not sure. A lot of this stuff is hidden from us. And Alphabet, that owns YouTube and Google, has $69 billion in debt, and I think they're selling another 25 billion as we speak. So what happens is the Federal Reserve creates this money out of thin air.
Did you go in the right door?
Yeah, open market, closed market. Oh, we're gonna call this the Candlestick Fund. Remember, when guns are banned, I'm the president of the Candlestick Association, because when guns are banned, the #1 murder will be from candlesticks.
Okay, go on.
Anyway, that's a joke.
Yes, it is.
So they create this money out of thin air, give it to the banks, and then the banks lend it to Oracle. Now, not only does a bank get 25 billion, then it lends it to Oracle, so they have another 25 billion, so the bank has 50 billion. So the monetary supply grows and inflation skyrockets. So this AI is producing $3 trillion in bonds and money, and the nuclear industry, 200 nuclear reactors at 15 billion apiece, plus the railroads, which are funded by bonds, and your car tabs. So if they're spending 200 billion, or if they're spending $1 trillion, but they're only getting 60 billion, they just sell the rest as bonds to the banks. And the banks buy it because the Fed funds the banks, and the banks issues the bonds. So the bank has not only the money from the Feds, but they also have the money from the bonds. See, they take the bonds and resell it back to the Feds. So I looked at Project Matador. What the friggin' are we doing with all these AIs, Jane?
What's Project Matador?
Project Matador, of course, all the dead people are funding it. Bill Gates, George, all these dead people like Bill Gates are funding it. And you've seen the different Facebook, the Mark Zuckerberg. You've seen all the different Mark Zuckerbergs, right? And Jeff Bezos, like this, one eye closed means he's demon possessed. That's Jeff Bezos. So the demon possessed and the dead are funding all of these corporations. And so Project Matador is down in Texas, University of Texas. They're building 5 huge data centers in Texas. They're sucking up $1 billion of water.
Okay, that's the data center project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this is just Project Matador. This is one of a dozen. And what's the purpose of Project Matador? The purpose of Project Matador is to take, unbelievable, $40 billion, 5 nuclear reactors, 5 data centers. We're talking about $150 billion, go Oracle, for one of dozens of data centers. Their purpose is to look at gamma rays. Now, gamma rays is the sector, remember we said plants, humans, lower astral plane, upper astral plane, mind plane, the creation plane, and the God plane. They're looking in the God plane. And if you talk to these people and you get a handle on what they're doing, they're looking for the angels, and they're looking for Jesus, and they're looking for God, so they can zap them and kill them. This is beyond belief. The evil is beyond. And then they have the Project Stargate. Nobody knows what that's about.
Well, you talk about this stuff, and it just seems too
unbelievable.
It's like fake. I can't believe that.
They're looking for Jesus to kill him. This is not fantasy. This is not television. This is not YouTube. This is reality. They're spending of your money $150 billion just to build the first data center and 4 nuclear reactors and suck the oligaga, the aquifer of Texas dry.
Oh.
Up by Amarillo.
Okay.
So they're going to suck the Ogallala water aquifer. Now that means all of the farms' water levels are going to go down, and the farmers have to suck up the building of new wells out of their dollars because the government is spending hundreds of billions of dollars they're now lending out to suck the water level dry rather than running that pipeline from the Columbia River down to Texas and refilling the Ogallala water and stopping the boiling of the ocean from Alaska so that we don't get pummeled with rain and Texas dries out so they can lower the water level, kill all the farmers, kill all the cattle, and build a huge data center to look into the gamma. It's Project Matador is to process gamma ray information from telescopes. That's their official look. They're looking into the frequencies way up here to find the aliens, to find the angels. Unbelievable. I'm reading the analysis of that, Jane, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding. You're going to kill Jesus? Are you insane? Our government is spending hundreds of trillions of dollars on the most insane cause I've ever seen in my life. There's nothing more you can say. You just raise your hands and go, WTF. Oh, what did you say? Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I was blown away when I discovered this. God bless. Thank you very much. And if you're still investing in these stocks with hundreds of billions of dollars of bonds claiming they have a profit, it's all coming down. God bless. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.